I work with a lot of undergraduate teaching assistants in my courses. I've come to see undergraduate teaching assistants and teaching assistants in general as as an extension of that mentoring function that I really value in our courses, and less about grading and evaluating students. In a typical class that I'm teaching, where a lot of problem solving is occurring during the class, I ask the undergraduate TAs to attend every lecture or every class meeting. And the undergraduate and TAs and I are working together and circulating around the classroom, working with the students during the time that they're solving problems. The undergraduate TAs often are alumni of these classes, and they're pretty familiar with the material because they themselves have gone through it relatively recently. I ask them to help coach the students through the problems. We talk together in relatively frequent staff meetings once a week about how it is that we're going to mentor the students through these problems, because what I really want is to avoid the students or TAs who tell the students how to do the problem, but rather I want graduate TAs and undergraduate TAs who can help coach the students through the problem. Using undergraduate TAs in this way is really a means of maximizing the student contact time. In a big class with 100 to 200 students, it's very difficult for me to circulate around all the students that are working at a time when they're solving problems. So having 4 or 5 or even 6 undergraduate TAs in such a class allows me to extend the amount of times that an instructor or a mentor is coming by as the students are struggling with some part of a problem. I also look for these folks to be role models for the students in the class. Depending on the class that I'm teaching, I'm asking undergraduate TAs to serve who are of the same kind of background as the students in the class. So for a physics major class, I would have physics undergrads, or for a class intended for pre-meds that's taught in the physics department, I often ask alumni who are themselves pre-meds to help with the class. In this case, it's not so important to have a senior upper division student as it is someone who's capable of the content at the level that the students are at, and who can really serve as peers and role models for the students who are trying to struggle through the material. Often the kind of identification with those undergraduate TAs is much stronger if they come from similar backgrounds. I like to see the students form strong connections with their undergraduate TAs. In classes that I've done lots of problem solving, the use of undergraduate TAs has greatly increased the effectiveness of that problem solving time. There's a small study I did some number of years ago where I did implement Eric Mazur's type of peer instruction model, where students are working on concept problems throughout the class, and the students who were in the class were moderately in agreement that that sort of problem solving technique was very effective in their learning. But their agreement with that statement, that the problem solving was helpful in learning the course material, was greatly enhanced in the subsequent years when I had undergraduate TAs serve in the class with me. In this particular study, there were only 3 undergraduate TAs in a class of 200, and even that was enough to really shift the students' opinion about how effective it was, or how much mentoring they were getting about the problem solving material. These kinds of undergraduate TAs are real sounding boards for ideas and help go a long way toward creating that culture in the classroom of everyone's trying it out, everyone is trying new ideas, and everyone is somewhat vulnerable and willing to express their ignorance or their confusion with a peer mentor. So I really rely on these folks to take on that role with me, and we talk a lot about how it is the students get confused, and we talk a lot about how it is that we can try to break that confusion down and help the students themselves get the confidence to solve the problems. So these are really great allies for me in offering a course, and I rely on them heavily. I also find that they ultimately save me a great deal of time, because even though I have to spend an extra hour meeting with them in the course of a week as a form of a staff meeting, I I save immense number of hours in the amount of contact time they themselves will then go have with students. I ask the undergraduate TAs to also become responsible for 1 office hour a week, and they meet with students, and the students really gravitate toward those office hours as much as they gravitate toward mine, perhaps even more so. I also ask these undergraduate TAs to be responsible for looking at the students' progress in Quest learning modules and making sure that everyone's understanding the material or individually writing to students who seem to be struggling. And that again extends my impact because I don't have the time to go through all 100 students or 200 students in the course, but by breaking the course into cohorts, these undergraduate TAs can make that a more manageable proposition. So these are huge benefits to me in terms of extending the contact time in a course.